are in Shaar Daled Perek Gimel. We're talking about what the Pirush is of Torah Lishma. He makes the concept sound easy. I actually find it very complex what he's saying. But let's look at it properly. Might be Nogeya, the limud, to know that when we say, it says in Shulchan Aruch, Mishnichnas Ador Marbin B'Simcha. So Mishnichnas Ador, that's now, Marbin B'Simcha. And Rashi says, Shenisim Hayu Boy Nes Purim v'Nes Pesach. It's an interesting Rashi. Purim and Pesach, like why he brings Pesach, and there's a lot to speak about. But the normal way to learn Pshat, the regular way to learn Pshat, and that is that we're in celebration mode. There's wonderful things happen to the Jewish people in Chodesh Adar, and therefore we should be b'simcha in Chodesh Adar. It should be b'simcha. Purim was a special day of simcha because a lot happened on Purim. So there's Purim was like in a hapachu, was an unusual ness. So for sure you should be b'simcha. The Arizal says, no, that's not the pshat. The pshat is that that there's the Shechina, there's the kedusha and the gedula and the or of the Shechina. And it needs a place to land. It needs a place to be chal, Shechina. And it won't land in a place unless there's simcha there. In other words, the simcha is not a celebration, but the simcha is the kli, which is makabel, the Shechina. Eina Shechina shara ella mitoich simcha. It's not mitoich when you're in the midst of being b'simcha only, but in order for the Shechina, it has to be mitoich simcha. The kli is simcha. So it's not the pshat that we're celebrating, we're b'simcha because a nes happened. The pshat is that a nes happened because we're b'simcha. So in other words, anybody, as the Arizal says, that if anybody feels that they want to get a little more bracha in their life, I presume there are many people that feel that, want to have a little more bracha in their life, a little more. So the way to do it, step one, is to be b'simcha. And once you're b'simcha, so now you have a place where the Shechina HaKadosha could be chal, and then that's that, which is the bracha. So the bracha is chal b'toich simcha. So the simcha is the prerequisite for Shechina. It's a different idea of how to be b'simcha. No, it's a historical fact that when we were b'simcha on Purim and Adar, we were zocha to nisim. I'm adding to the Arizal. We see that it worked in Adar, but the fact is that's all the time. That whenever there's a bracha, it's like an interesting thing. Like if you're in a difficult situation, God forbid, medically, financially, whatever. So that's the one time where you entitle ourselves not to be b'simcha. But the way to get the bracha is dafka to be b'simcha, because simcha means that we trust in Hashem, we believe in Hashem. Kol b'seder. What does it say? What does it say? It doesn't say.
They say that. I'm saying in the middle of the whole Kollel.
Yeah, but it doesn't make this point. The positive shot. You could now, the Arizal, you could say the pshat is that why are we having all these klolos? Because we weren't b'simcha, meaning that haguf kasha, like how could, so everybody makes drushes about how important simcha is. But here you could say simple pshat, according to the Arizal, is that the reason why the klolos, meaning the absence, why the brachas were not chal, and bimkomam came klolos, is because there was no kli. But it's not like the simcha is a mitzvah in the positive shot that brings somehow bracha, or lack of it brings. That's the keli.
Two things. First of all, I heard the Shema Maral. I think that's a common mitzvah of simple chasam mekala. Simple the bracha of a new.
Maral says that.
I believe the newness of the yichud of the favor.
No, I didn't the Maral. I just said it at a. at Avart, that l'chara v'asali mikdash v'shachanti v'seichem l'chara the simcha of chasam v'kala is that which can bring the shechina ish v'isha shechina shari b'nei.
That's a requirement of the samech chasam v'kala because l'chara they're happy on their own, but in order to be marchiv the shefa.
The keli.
The keli. Sheni though, I wanted to ask, how does one? It's easy to say, so be b'simcha. You need a kli, but how do you get b'simcha? It's like you make it
without the bracha.
Exactly. So I mean, the Gemara said the Gemara says music.
Look, I think there's two things. I think one thing is, I mean, when you have betachin, you're b'simcha. I mean, to the degree that we don't have betachin, that's the degree where we're not b'simcha. I'm not saying this because I have so much betachim, but I'm also not so much b'simcha. But what I am saying is that l'chayra, to the degree that we would just trust in Hakadosh Baruch Hu, we're happy, and when we're happy, we have a brother. You trust, you ever drive with someone and like you don't like the way they're driving, like every moment. A lot of people have this experience when their wife is driving. Like every moment, you don't want to say anything, shalom bayis. You also don't want to die. Like it's you have to think of which is worse. But there's a certain feeling of uneasiness because you don't trust. So if you would trust HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it would be enjoying the view. It would be geschmack. It would be beautiful. So that's one thing. And the other thing I think is that, simcha can be start with, it can be an external midah. You can fake it. You can act with simcha, and that already what? Simcha, yeah. Simcha, which is not abiti. I know that I think the Orchos Tzadikim says that if a person smiles, that makes a person to simcha. Or if you smile at somebody else, that makes them b'simcha. How does that work? There's something.
It's not simcha. It's marb. It's to add. It's
right.
Implicit that you're going to be b'simcha. The only thing is that you're adding.
Add more than usual. Yeah, marb and b'simcha, so that you can get more bracha. So maybe the answer to your question is why adar. Adar, we see that there's so much bracha hanging around, that it's kedai to be like you're saying, to be marchiv the gvul of the simcha, because then there you have Amish Purim Pesach, which I think is the beginning of to understand why Rashi says Purim Pesach. Pesach was not in Adar, but a lot happened in Adar, but the bracha happened in Adar. But the point of it is that Adar, Nisan, Adar before Nisan, there's so much bracha hanging around. So now our job is to be maribin b'simcha. And to do it. Okay, so I just want to say that as a sort of first of all, beginning of the month, and second of all, it's a very difficult sugya here. But let's just read the first paragraph. Parak Gimel Aval Emes. He spoke about what Lishma is not. Lishma, learning Torah Lishma is not trying to do Tikkun Elamais or Tikkun Adam or any of those things, right? Nothing Kabbalistic about it. How to learn Torah Lishma. I'm not being miyached yichudim. Emes ki ha'inyan Lishma perush l'shem haTorah. That's all. L'shem haTorah. What does l'shem haTorah mean? What does l'shem haTorah mean? It could be the simple thing is if you're reading a magazine on Shabbos afternoon, lahavdil. So you could read it. There could be a number of purposes. I want to get some information. I want to be able to have a conversation with somebody. I want to be able to talk about this. I want to stay up to date with the news. I mean, there's a lot of things. Or I'm just reading. It doesn't make any difference if I forget it 2 minutes later. I'm just reading it, l'shem, reading a magazine. So maybe that's what l'shem Torah means, which sounds a little bit. But there's no kavadas. I'm just learning Torah. So Ainian. So he explains K'moshe Perish Harosh Zal, the Rosh, one of the Rishonim, says, Al Maimer Rebbe Lazar Reb Tzadok, the Gemara Nedarim, says, Rebbe Lazar says, Asay Dvarim L'Shem Pa'alon. When Asay Dvarim means Asay, do things. Let's talk about what we do. Put on tefillin, Asay. Why should you put on tefillin? L'Shem Pa'alon, because Hashem said to put on tefillin. And even be mechaven for the purpose. Maybe it's making tikkunim in all of the olamos, maybe. Maybe we know that, I'm saying. But asay dvarim l'shem po'al l'shma yishal HaKadosh Baruch Hu shepo'al, this is l'shem po'al, shepo'al hakol l'maneu. Everything he did is l'chvayt Hashem. But then it says in the pasuk, in the Gemara rather, v'daber bahem lishma. Rabbi Lazar makes a distinction. Asay dvarim l'man po'alon. V'daber bahem, which is what? Limud HaTorah. Daber bahem, right? V'dibarta bam. V'daber bahem lishman. Why does it have to change the nusach here? The first nusach is l'shem po'alon. All of a sudden it's lishman. So l'shem po'alon is lishma. Lishma is l'shem po'alon. What's the difference between mitzvahs and Torah? So says the Rosh, lashon of the Rosh. What it means is the Rosh makes this distinction. He says kol diburcha umasoecha b'divrei Torah, that whenever you speak or converse in divrei Torah, daber b'hen lishma yeh l'shem haTorah. So I'm doing a mitzvah, it's l'shem Hashem. You get this, Rosh? When I'm learning Torah, it's l'shem Torah. It's not l'shem Hashem. L'shem Torah. Kigoin. How does that look? Kigoin leida ulahavin. I'm doing it to know. I'm doing it to understand. Ulahaisiv lekach upilpul. And I want to be mefalpel. V'loi, as opposed to lekanter ulehiskaos. And not to be critical of others and not to be haughty over other people. Okay, the Loy Lishma is easy to understand. What does it mean, Torah Shaloi Lishma? Torah Lishma is to do it l'shem Torah.
He teaches the Kanteras to mock it, the Torah itself.
Okay. It's not the way the Rebbe learned Pshat. L'kanteroi. And Lehis Gaos, it's Gaiva. Don't know. Diktek Levar, so he explains the Rosh. Shinui l'shaynei de Rabbi Lazar Reb Tzadok. Why Rabbi Lazar Reb Tzadok changed the lashon? Sheba'asiyah amar l'shem pa'alon, o b'dibor amar l'shman. Lachein binyan asiyah perish l'shmoi shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu shepal hakol l'maneu binyan alimud perish l'shem Torah. So he says over what the Rosh says. And what the Rosh means is Hainu Kasiyas HaMitzvah V'alei Shetzrich Liyos L'Mitzvah Min HaMuvchar. In order to do a mitzvah correctly, it has to be B'dveikus U'machshava Tahira Sheb'Tahira K'fi Sichloi V'Asagosai. We're talking about that you have to have Dveikus to Hashem while you're doing the mitzvah. This is Nefesh Hachaim talking. Machshava Tahira while you're doing the mitzvah. K'fi Sichloi V'Asagosai, as much as my Madreg allows. Why? Kadeshis Kalesi laws, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will have Kilus, Ligraim Tikunei Olamais, and here I'm going to be Masakin Olamais. Again, it's not Lasakin Adam, he explained to us, not Lasakin Atzmei, but Lasakin Olamais, the Koichais Ustarim El Yonim. When I do this mitzvah, I'm putting on tefillin in the morning, wow. Like the whole Shemayim is changing, and I'm being mistabik with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that's all good for a mitzvah. Zehu L'Shem Pa'alan, Kichol Pa'al Hashem L'Maneu. And even though, let's make no mistake, that when it comes to mitzvahs, you can't only be miyachid yichudim, you also have to do the mitzvah correctly. Like, don't get carried away with the kavanas. This is in typical Nefesh Hachaim. Don't get carried away with the kavanas. Don't forget to do the mitzvah gufa, right? So it's likuva hu asiyah b'poil. So of course, if we're in this world, and if you don't have those high kavanas, you're yotze anyway. We did a good job on that. He says, nevertheless, you can't argue with the fact that the more kavanah, the more machshava, and the more dveikus I have in the mitzvah, the better it is. That's what he calls mitzvah min hamuvchar la'oirer b'lifol tikunim yoser gedolim b'hoi lamais. And I'm changing the whole Shemayim I'm doing much more in the Shemaim than I would accomplish would I be just doing a fartrunken, a mitzvah, without any kavanah, with all. Even though it means to say, even if we paskin mitzvahs ain't tzrichas kavanah, which we do, so nevertheless, I mean, you can't argue with the fact that kavanah makes it better. Maybe it's ha'ma'akiv the mitzvah, but certainly kavanah makes it better. Aval, but here's the distinction. Al hanhagas ha'adam b'shas eisek ha'torah b'dinei ha'mitzvah chosem. Okay, right now we're learning Torah. Now, what's the kavanah here? Let's say we're doing it the best way possible. Is it dveikus on HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Comes the Rosh and he says, hanhagas ha'adam b'shas eisek ha'torah b'dinei ha'mitzvah chosem. When you're learning v'daber bahen lishma, you're learning how to do mitzvahs. Omer v'daber bahen. Daber bahen. Ratzalaymer hadibor b'inyanei ha'mitzvahs ilchosem yil lishman. Perush l'shem ha'divrei Torah. Hainu leida ulahavin ulahaisiv lekach upilpul. To be a lamdan. The ikar to learn Torah is to be a lamdan, not to make tveikus on HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Now, besides the fact that he's being toila like a whole machlekes olamas, chasidim, mistagdim, in this nakuda, you see, I mention this all the time. You go into a Hasidic yeshiva, so before they learn Torah, they're putting on the hat and the gartel, and there's a kedusha to the thing. And he's saying, you go into a different kind of yeshiva, you see guys sitting there, smoking a cigarette. It's different, but they're learning. Huh?
If you're just reading the Gemara, is your understanding still mechanically or reading? Is that
You're mechanically what?
reading it? You're doing the action. If I'm putting the filling, I'm putting the wrapping on, I have no kavanas, no understanding, but I'm doing the action as prescribed.
Whereas by Torah,
And the equivalent would be, in my understanding, that I'm just reading. So
you're not doing Torah.
I'm not doing Torah.
Right. So that's a good distinction. That there's, in other words, it's not that the Maisa needs kavanah of Torah. There's no Maisa here. What's my Maisa? If I'm learning Torah and I'm not learning anything, so I'm not learning Torah. So just the main thing is to learn.
But there's a chiluk between Hershel and Hershel Peh.
Maybe.
Hershel Sab, it is worth something. Hershel, that's not.
Okay. I mean, okay, no, look, that's a gufa shaila, but he goes into it later. But I'm saying the etzem zach of learning Torah is v'shinantam levanecha v'dibartam, that you understand it, you can give it over. Shei divrei Torah mechudadim beficha v'shinantam shinun, shinantam levanecha shei divrei Torah, right? Kol makom, the Gemara says a shiur. Kol makom sheshoyel anais lai oinin. He knows how to answer everything, no matter what part of Torah you're asking him, and he knows how to answer. So,
How does Almanas Lasois fit in here or not fit in
Lilmaid Almanas Lasais.
here?
Seder.
Because he's saying in the Shem, if you, I know there's enough min would be if you're learning Kodshim.
Right.
It's not Almanas Lasois, you're not a Kohen, right? But he
Almanas Lasais
he's
and not
saying
Almanas
I just
Lasais.
want to understand Torah. I want to do what Torah does, and
I want to learn Torah.
I want to learn Torah. And he doesn't bring in Almanas Lasois.
Right.
Why not?
Because that has nothing to do with Lishma.
That's what I'm asking. Yeah.
It has nothing to do with the Shah. It's a separate Zach.
Separate zach.
The question I want to ask here and show you is, let's say I'm learning Torah for Torah. I'm questioning, are we learning Lishma or not? But let's say I enjoy learning Torah. Good or bad? Is it Lishma or Shalai Lishma?
Good.
This is the famous Eglei Tal.
Can you substantiate?
Yeah, Eglei Tal.
Eglei Tal. So let's look at the Eglei Tal. Here's the Eglei Tal. Original edition. Tough for H Samachay. I'll leave that to you. Yeah, it was put out by his son, who was the Shem Mishmul. The Avnei Nezer, so the Avnei Nezer put out himself. Akav, he was, doesn't need my, he was a Gadol Adar. But one of the ways you know that the Avnei Nezer was a Gadol Adar is that he freely quotes, the Hasidic Gedolim and the Gra, anything to understand the Pshat. Gra is all over the Eglei Tal, which is an interesting Torah Lishma. But he writes here in the Hakdama, maybe you've heard of it, but let's look at it. He's talking here about the Eglei Tal is on Hilchos Shabbos. He takes certain malachas of Shabbos and the Seder Achila, I think, and he talks about those malachas in a very beautiful way. Tal. But it's not about Lamentes malachas. It's only some of the malachas. Here. Kollel Bais halachos Hilchos Shabbos meyud aleph malachos shebeseder apas. So it's not a complete tal. So he says, Midai Dabri, besides for talking about Hilchos Shabbos, he says, I want to talk about Esker Masha Shamatik Sas B'nei Adam. I want to mention what I've heard from people, Toyin who are mistaken, Miderech HaSeichel, totally illogical, Be'inyan Limud Torasenu Hakdaisha, when it comes to the Limud HaTorah, V'amroi, and they say, Ki aloimed u'mechadesh chidushim, that if somebody learns and he's mechadesh chidushim, v'sameach u'misaneg, that's why I gave the introduction of our Adar. He's mechadesh chidushim, he's sameach u'misaneg b'limudai. Right? You could go away from learning. We've all had the experience. You're elated. You're so besimcha. It's so geschmack, right? Nothing geschmack like that. No, you don't come out of chemistry so geschmack. I mean, this is geschmack, right? Ein ze limud HaTorah. So there are those that say, ein ze, listen to the language, ein ze limud HaTorah kol kach lishma. It's not so lishma. There are those that say that that's not so lishma. It's incomparable to somebody who would be just learning bipshitus, no geschmack. Let's do the Gemara. You're just learning, like in school. You're just learning. You don't get any particular geschmack in it. What?
Like Buffalo, like Bula.
Yeah. She'ein loy me'alimut shum tainug v'hu rak l'shem mitzvah. So who's the bigger guy? Who's the bigger lishma? The guy who gets a Baruch Hashem about Kishrin, and he has a good Rebbe, and he loves learning, and he makes, everything is a Chakira and a Pilpul and a Lamdus, and he was a big Lamdan, and he really gets the Pshat, but he has Hana. He walks out happy.
I know who's going to win the marathon, the guy who gets Hana.
Okay, very good. Very good. He said, if two people are racing, the one who's getting a Geshmak is going to win. But that, there's no din of running a marathon l'shma. Whatever works, except for steroids. You go. It'll keep you going, yeah. So he says, this is all a quote from those people that say that understand, let's not knock it so quickly. The person who's learning and has a big geschmack in their learning, so he has a piece of it which is lishma, and a piece of it which is, I just enjoy this. Why do you learn? Oh, I really love learning. Okay, so it's hanas atzmai. Ube'emes zetos meforsim. That's a famous mistake that people make, this idea. And here's what he says, va'adraba, on the contrary. Ki zehi ikar mitzvahs limud HaTorah, the main mitzvah of limud HaTorah, liyoy sas, v'sameach, u'misaneg b'limudai, Va'az, and this is from what he says, Va'az divrei Torah nivlayin b'damai. Then it gets into your system. Like, in other words, the simcha, it's like a keli is not bolea unless it's hot and wet. So the Torah is not bolea into my system unless I'm hot. unless I'm besimcha, I'm sus, sameach. That's what's going to make it. And isn't it true that which we had, when we hear something, we hear a Dvar Torah, we say a Dvar Torah, we learn a Dvar, that we're so geschmack from it, we remember it forever. Whereas if it was somebody telling me a very important information, but boring, so then it's not nifla. It doesn't go unless you have like a Meshuggah memory. It's the importance of it, it's the geschmack of it, that's what does it. So he says that, having hana from Torah, hu nasa davok l'Torah, he becomes Torah. So he's seeing the simcha and the tainug as like a way of allowing the Torah into my system. Ubezayar HaKadosh, it says in the Zayar, the bein yetzer hatov ubein yetzer hara ein misgadlin ela mitoich simcha. It's fascinating that nothing is going to grow in a person if it doesn't have simcha. I say it in my words. If you don't internalize something, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, it's not going to become part of you. So whether you're trying to grow your Yetzer Tov or whether you're trying to grow your Yetzer Hara, you have to internalize it. How do you internalize something? Simcha, very deep. The simcha is what makes it internalized. Yetzer HaTov, so it says Zayar Miskadol Mitoich Simcha Shel Torah. Mefurish. Yetzer HaTov Miskadol by getting simcha from Torah. Yetzer Hara v'chulu. Doesn't give us a detailed explanation because we know. So the Yetzer HaTov, the way you build that up, like the bodybuilding for the Yetzer HaTov, is not through Torah, but through Simchas HaTorah. Simchas HaTorah. So says the Avnei Nezer, V'im Amarta. Now, if you want to say, Shal Yedei HaSimcha Sheyesh Le Me'alimud Nikra Shaloi Lishma, if you're going to tell me that the simcha that I have, the personal joy that I have from learning Torah is called Shaloi Lishma, or Yalkopanim, or even if you want to say it's Lishma v'Shaloi Lishma, some type of a taruvais of Lishma, Shaloi Lishma, Hare Simcha Zu, so now the more happiness I have is less. Od Megareya Koyach HaMitzvah. It's Megareya. U'Machahe Oira. We know Torah Shaloi Lishma creates darkness, not light. So I'm taking away the dark light. So how is it possible that I'm growing and my Yetzer HaTov is growing through Torah Shaloi Lishma? This that the Zayar tells us the Yetzer HaTov is miskadel. We can see from there that the Torah Hashem, Limud HaTorah b'simcha, is the main way to learn Torah. He says, I'll give you this much. I'll admit to this. That let's say somebody says, I don't believe it's a mitzvah. I don't hold it a mitzvah. I don't even believe in God, but I like learning Torah. I'm askil kazeh, right? So that person, Rak Machmas, why is he doing it? Sheyesh le'tainug b'limudai, hareza nikra limud shaloi lishma. So kaha, and he gives an interesting mashal. You see, it's starting to get delicate here, and I haven't even begun. Kaha, I'll give you an example. He says of oichel matzah shaloi l'shem mitzvah. Let's say Pesach night, have somebody for the Seder, and you bring out matzah. Oh, I love matzah. Michigan. He loves matzah. Okay, do you know the story of Yetzias Mitzrayim? Couldn't care less, just give me the matzah, right? Do you understand that it's a mitzvah to eat matzah tonight? I don't need to know, just give me the matzah. I love matzah. So if somebody eats matzah completely, shaloi l'shem mitzvah, rak l'shem tainug achil, he just likes matzah, it's completely shaloi l'shma. That's a complete case of shaloi l'shma, meaning when you eat matzah, you have to make a bracha, and you have to have kavanah that I'm eating matzah because of Yetzias Mitzrayim. You don't have to have heiche kavanas, but you have to have a kavanah that you're Yetzias Mitzrayim. That's why Rabbi Gamliel said, Kol she'ein shloisha dvarim alalu einu yotzei chayvasei. Matzah zu, maror zu, this has to have a kavanah. However, should the guy eat the matzah or not eat the matzah? Give him the matzah. Why? Because lo'olam yasek adam b'Torah b'Torah mitzvah shaloi lishma shemitorah shaloi lishma. Let him eat the matzah, but not because he's doing some kind of a mitzvah. It's a mitzvah shaloi lishma. On this we say shaloi lishma ba lishma. Avol haloi made l'shem mitzvah u'misanig b'limudai. But let's say I am learning because Hashem told me to learn Torah. I do believe that Hashem gave me this Torah, right? U'misanig b'limudai, and I enjoy it. Hareza limud Lishma, Kulai Kodesh, Kigam Hatainug Mitzvah. It's completely Lishma. It's completely Lishma because that's the way you learn Torah. It was just a fact that if you learn Torah correctly, it gives you tainug. So one of the ways even to know whether you're learning Torah correctly or not is whether you're enjoying it. So how can you say that it's Shalai Lishma? So you hear the difference between Torah and mitzvahs? Torah, in other words, like you're allowed to have simcha when you learn Torah. The answer is, that's what learning Torah is. There is no other way. It's like asking, are you allowed to shake the lulav while you're shaking the lulav? That's good for the mitzvah. It's not like saying, can I be mechaven while I'm shaking the lulav to do calisthenics? Right? I'm doing, like this is good for you. You know, Agav, somebody told me that he started taking lessons in yoga, which is good. It's okay. And he finds that during Shemona Esrei, he's able to do a lot of different yoga poses. He's able to, and he holds, there's a yoga way to hold your feet straight. You open your toes, your hand, there's a lot of different yoga things. Your palms are always up, your palms are never down. There's a lot of things. So he does it during Shemona Esrei, and it enhances the Shemona Esrei. So he was telling me this. I just what do we, I think I told one of the yoga teachers here. He asked me, "Is the whole thing mutter?" I said, "Yes, but not l'shem any spirituality for exercise." So what do you do? Let's say you're doing exercise in the middle of Shemona Esrei. Chaser mashu, like it's taking away from the Shemona Esrei. It's not adding the Shemona Esrei. If I say you're doing exercise while you're shaking the lulav, or they have a whole article now that putting on tefillin they find is good for your heart. Did you read that? It's a big science. Everyone's very excited about the scientific discovery. Right.
That's what they do.
Alavida Jews will start putting it. The non-Jews over here. No, but it's not the kavana, In other words, so the answer is I guess if you're like a Chabadnik and you're standing on the corner, not next to the school but a little bit far away, and you're asking somebody to put on tefillin, so you can tell him, look, can you do this mitzvah? It's good for your heart. So tarti mashma, it's good. It's good for your heart. So shaloi lishma ba lishma. However, if you're learning Torah with somebody, this is the vart. So I'm learning Torah, and let's get a geshmak. Like I'm giving a shiur, and I'm making the shiur very geshmak. Beautiful. Mitzvah b'kach. That's the way you learn Torah. But let's say a person says, I don't believe in the whole thing. I don't want to learn Torah. I don't, but I'm completely shaloi lishma. But I want to hear what you have to say, and I enjoy these type of intellectual exercises. It's like a crossword puzzle. So then it's kulei shaloi lishma. I'm not sure that you're allowed to do that, even though the Gemara says yasik b'Torah uba mitzvah shaloi lishma. But nevertheless, the Berhetiv on that halacha, where it's brought down in Shulchan Aruch, says that you're feeding the klippos if there's no element of lishma in it. Okay, so Chazar, what he says here, it seems to be, is that you're allowed to learn Torah. Not only you're allowed to, it's recommended and preferred learning Torah is lehisanig ba, and to get a geshmak. Now, many people like you say that that's pretty much what the Nefesh Hachaim says too. Because the Nefesh Hachaim, who brings this rush that we just learned, what's the lashon over here? What's daber behen lishma called diburcha masaacha b'divrei Torah l'shem Torah kigoin leida. Why am I learning Torah? Leida ulahavin ulahisif lekach upilpul. He doesn't say the word lehisanig, but he's saying I'm doing it to become a lamdan. So, so I want to be a lamdan. Is that good or bad? It's good. That's the mitzvah. In other words, if I'm not doing it to become a lamdan, I'm not. That's exactly what I'm declaring. I actually think that they don't agree so much, but it's a subtle point that I'd like to. But let me just ask this question quickly. That let's say a person, you say to your chavrusa, do you want to learn Eruvin? And he says, I get no gishmak in Eruvin or in Taurus, in Goyim. when you learn Taurus, there's not a lot of lumdas there. Yeah, just learning. If you learn Kachim, even though people think Kachim, like in Brisk, they learn Kachim, but the reason they learn Kachim in Brisk is because you can't play around too much. Everything is Muchach from Psukim. That's why they learn Kachim in Brisk, and one of the reasons they learn Kachim. There's no big pilpulim. You could say here, there. You could say, some kind of a vart, but it's not a real lumdish Masechta like Baba Metzia or Baba Basra or Yavamas. There's a lot of lumdis. There's a lot of chakiras. So let's say a person says, I don't want to learn that. I have no geschmack in that. Oh, right. So he skips it. One second. Let me say before you. Let me slug before you upslug. 1 second. Like, if I refuse to learn something, meaning I stick to the things that I have a geschmack in, so l'chayra, that's Torah Lishma, no? That means l'mafreya. If I'm only, meaning then it could be I go into the case of learning lehisaneg, not l'shem mitzvah lisaneg. No?
It's one or the other. It's not a preference.
No, but if I'm learning Lishma, I want to know everything Hashem said. Whether I have a geschmack or not.
I'm saying geschmack is an aspect of preference. You're not saying that I'm not ever going to touch that. It's just we're going to spend the time together. We're going to time, so let's decide.
No, but let's take like me, for instance. I only learn things I get geschmack. in other words, Mashliba Chafetz, like you say. In other words, like l'chayra, one of the nafkaminas to know, it's very subtle. When I'm learning, I'm entitled, and it's even preferred that I'm misanig. But let's say I have no tainug, and therefore I don't learn it. So that's like a bit of an indicator that we have a problem, right? So let me just read to you for a moment before we close up. Let me read to you the Arizal. And I read.
You should give yourself time to like all learning. To learn the whole Torah.
But then the Chazal doesn't make sense. You should learn Mashali B'Chafetz. Could be that's a starting point.
Maybe the point is
get more Chafetz.
Get yourself to like it, because if you learn all Torah, it's no excuse to say, well, this part of Torah won't learn.
By the way, you do have to learn all of Torah. Yesh kazeh davar. In other words, we're going to come to Shabbayim, and we don't know where the Farher is going to be on. Like, it's not going to necessarily be on the first 8 plot of Bava Metzia or something. Or even Daf Yomi. I mean, in other words, like you have to know the whole Torah. Brings here this sefer. He brings Reb Chaim Vital in the Hakdama to his sefer Eitz Chaim. I want to cut to the chase here, even though every word here is mamish holy. He says here. Bizmanenu, nowadays, it's the generation after the Arizal. Bizmanenu zeh ba'avonosenu harabim, asher haTorah nasis kardum lachber ba. The Torah has become a shovel with which to dig, which is, in Pirkei Avos already says, that you can't make the Torah a kardum lachber ba. Etzoksas ba'alei Torah asher iskim b'Torah, because there are people that are learning Torah al manas l'kabel pras for the reward involved, v'haspakot yeterot, and additional benefits. People learning Torah. V'gam, this is Reb Chaim Vital talking, v'gam liyosim mechlal rosh yeshivas, they want to be a rosh yeshiva, v'dinei sanhedrios, they want to be dayanim, liyos shmam v'reicham noidef b'chol haaretz. They want to be famous. So I'm learning to become a gadol. V'doimim v'maseyim. What do we say about these people? I mean, it's not such a terrible. I mean, I'm making it sound so bad. It's not so bad. Like you go to university to become a doctor. You go to yeshiva to become a rosh yeshiva. Was ist also schlecht? So he says that these people are like la'anshe dor hapaloga. They're building the Tower of Babel. That migdal v'roshei b'shamayim. It's high up, goes up to the shamayim. But why did they do that? Why did they build this high tower? Iker sibas ma'aseim hi. Mashakazav acher kach, what the Torah itself says, v'nase lanu shem. Hava nivna lanu migdal v'roishay shamayim. Right? V'nase lanu shem, and we'll make a name for ourselves. Hakosu b'sefer HaZoyar b'parshas Bereishis. The Zohar says in Parshas Bereishis on the pasuk of Elu told the Shemayim v'Aretz shechamisha moinim yesh be'erev Rav. There's 5 characteristics of the erev Rav. Gimel haminim mehem ha'nikra kas giborim. According to the Zohar, 3 of them are called giborim. The alayu itmar. What does giborim mean? The erev Rav are giborim, strong people. Hema hagiborim, that the pasuk says asher me'olam anshe shem. Good word in the Zohar. Anshe Shem. So if you talk about the Anshe Shem are people who are doing it for Gaiva. Or not even for Gaiva, but not for the Torah L'Shem Torah, but L'Shem. Ve'inon, and those people, again, we're talking about somebody who's learning to be a Rosh Yeshiva, like you're not a... Ve'inon misitra de'ilan, comes from the Sitra Achra. The Itmar is from those people that say, Hava nivna lanu iru migdal, v'nasalonu shem b'vinyan, and what are they doing? They're building a migdal Bavel, but they say they're building bate knessiyos u bate midrashos. Yes, very scary. At the end, I just want to skip because I have a couple of minutes. He says a lot here. It's Kedai, maybe we should learn it all together, but Hine a chacham hagadol hatana Reb Meir olav shalom. Rabbi Meir said, that's right, Rabbi Akiva's Rabbi Meir. Omer loshen klolais kol, he said in Pirkei Avos. Rabbi's Rabbi. I'm sorry, Rabbi Yehuda Nasi's Rabbi. Reisius Rameir Me'acher. What? Right, Rabbi Akiva's Talmud. Rabbi's Rabbi. Ha'isik b'Torah Lishma zoichel l'dvarim harbe, says the Mishnah. If you learn Torah Lishma, you're zoichel to a lot of things. U'megalan lai razei Torah, this is what you're zoichel to. If you learn Torah Lishma, megalan lai, you'll have a gilui. Just forget about the Rav Chaim Vital, just the words of Rameir. Megalan lai razei Torah, I will have a revelation of the secrets of Torah. That doesn't happen too often. V'nasa, you will become kin nahar she'enoi poisek, like a river that never goes dry. Ukamayin hamiskaber me'elav, and like a spring that comes from the water that never runs out of water. Bilti itztarchu litroyach, you'll never be in a situation. Let's talk about the person who learns Torah Lishma. I learn a minute Torah Lishma. I'm going to be zocha to whatever extent I learn Lishma. To razei Torah, I become a mayan hamiskaber, I become an ever-flowing river. V'lo yitztarchu litroyach ayin ba, you won't have to kvetch. Lo haitzi tipin shel meimei haTorah. Here's a drop here, here's a drop there. Oh, I found a little bit of Torah. No. If you learn Torah Lishma, the whole thing will be flowing, shotef. Not tipin. Hine zeyoyra, this teaches us, Rameir teaches us, says Reb Chaim Vital, that if he has to be searching for a drop of inspiration here, a drop of understanding here, tipin, kohaitzi mayim min asela, I'm trying to fetch something out. So that teaches us the only reason for that is I'm just not seeming to get the razei. Who gets razei? I'm not seeming to get the razei. I'm not a mayan hamiskaber. That's because I'm learning Shalai Lishma. Says Reb Chaim Vital, umiza ha'ish. Who's the person asher loy yizlu einav d'mais, who doesn't cry, who doesn't shed tears when you read this? When you read these words of Rameir. Or you have to ask yourself, am I a mayan hamiskaber? Or anybody megala to me razei Torah? Mi ha'ish asher lo yizlu einav d'mais. And here you see, like, everyone talks about Chaim Vital, and I really like, there were big mekubalim, tzaddikim. tzaddikim. Because not only do we not have the Razei Torah, but we're not crying either so much about it. Like, okay, Iker we're learning. So the truth is, and I just want to say this in closing, we shouldn't judge people. It's good people are learning. It's good people are doing mitzvahs and judge their kavanas. Just for ourselves, just to know the emes. So what comes out of this? I just want to finish this off on Sunday. But what comes out of it? What the question is? Nefesh Hachaim, Egleital, Reb Chaim Vital. Are they all saying one thing of Lishma? And how will it come out to the Nefesh Hachaim? Here's the question. Nefesh Hachaim doesn't mention this thing that the Egleital does, of that you have to be choishev that it's a mitzvah Lishma. According to the Egleital, according to the Nefesh Hachaim rather, I'm just reading. I'm reading and I'm knowing and I'm becoming a labdim. According to the Egleital, okay, that's correct, and you're even lisaning on it, but it has to be l'shem mitzvah. Then we have this Reb Chaim Vital, who says that lishma, shaloi lishma, you're not just reading if it's megalon like Razei Torah and nar, maybe. So that's what we need still to be mavar.
How do we know that you have to learn the whole Torah?
Shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam.
But
Kol makom shesholim. The Gemara learns it from.
Saying